Kosher Terroir. I'm Simon Jacob, your host for this episode from Jerusalem. Before we get started, no matter where you are, please take a moment to pray for the safe return home of all our soldiers and the full return of all the remains of our hostages. If you're driving in your car, please focus on the road ahead. If you're relaxing at home, please open a delicious bottle of kosher wine and pour a glass, sit back, and relax. Today, we're traveling, at least in our glasses, to the hills of Valencia, Spain, to a place where family memory, old vines, and Jewish history are all literally baked into the clay. Our guest is Armando Roberto Yitzchak Caracena-Molco from Viña, Memorias, a small family winery in the Valencia region. His family has been tending vines there for generations, but instead of disappearing into bulk wine and co-ops, they chose a very different path, to craft serious, terroir-driven kosher wines from old vine, Bobal and Macabeo on their own land under their own name. This episode is releasing during Hanukkah, the festival of rededication and stubborn light, and the white wine at the center of our conversation is Macabeo. Yes, Macabeo during Hanukkah, a Spanish varietal whose name echoes the Maccabees, made by a Sephardic Jewish family reclaiming its story in Spain and bringing those wines to Jewish tables around the world. It's not just good symbolism. That's history in a wine glass. And the story keeps deepening. Many of Viña Memorias' wines are aged in Amphora, large clay vessels made by local artisan families. In one of those beautiful historical twists, these amphorae have been stamped for generations with a Magen David, the Star of David, long before anyone imagined they'd one day cradle kosher wine made by a Jewish family in that very region. Clay, star, story, and wine all circling back together in our time. But because good stories attract good people, this conversation doesn't stay one-on-one for long. Near the middle of our tasting, Joshua London, the wine writer who first introduced me to Armando and insisted correctly that we had to record this podcast, crashes the party. Josh brings his deep knowledge of Spanish and kosher wines, sharp opinions, and infectious enthusiasm, and the discussion shifts into an even higher gear. So light a Hanukkah candle, pour yourself a glass of something kosher, ideally a Macabeo if you can find one, and join us as we talk with Armando and Josh about old vines, clay amphorae stamped with Stars of David, and what it means to make kosher wine in the hills of Valencia today. Let's dive in. I have a very interesting guest here in the studio.
Thank you so much.
It's really a pleasure to have you here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, so the question we're starting out with is if you could pour just one glass of wine that explains who you are and what the winery stands for. What's in the glass?
So we start with a complex...
I'm starting with a complex one. They get easier. They get easier, I promise.
When you start a project like we did, you thought that you have everything clear, but it's obviously the years are passing, and then you are really seeing who you are through the results of what you are doing and where you are getting. But if I choose one of the wines, and I said that in a more personal way, because probably my brothers or my parents, they might choose a different one. But if I choose one, I will say the one is called Unico. which was.
But you happen to have brought a bottle of it, so I'm looking forward to that.
I brought it for you. I brought two reds today. So this one, so we started our first vintage in 2016, and that was a wine that we started in 2018. And if I feel identified with it, it's because in terms of who we are as a family, the background of our family, the terroir, the expression, the history, everything, I think we can put it into that bottle. So I think it's very complete. If we start from the terroir, let's say, it's a wine that is made 100% with the indigenous grape variety, which is called Bobal, which is the star grape variety from our region, and happens to be the second most planted grape variety in Spain, a little bit a la par with the Garnacha. Garnacha is a bit more everywhere in Spain. The Bobal is mainly in our terroir. So this is why it's called sometimes our terroir is called the land of Bobal, because mostly we have Bobal.
So you're in Valencia.
We are in Valencia,
which is the third largest city in Spain.
We are in Valencia, is the third largest city in Spain, and it's a mix of the terroir and my family. As we discussed before, I'm coming from a French family from Aix-en-Provence, from my mother's side. And we have, from my father's side, is the Spanish side, is the land side, is the Bobal side. So in that one, we put all these together. We will talk later about all these more things, but also in terms of history, it's a wine that we did it in 2018 already 100% with what is called tinajas. Las tinajas are these orange clay amphoras that's traditional from our terroir as well. That was that technique that were brought from the Phoenician over 2,500 years ago, and since then has been used in the region. It's true that in a moment since the barrels came to the protagonism, so the tinajas, they were less used, and that we wanted to go back to how the wines they were made in our region at the time, and this is the result of Unico. So you have the Bobal, you have the pre-phylloxera vineyards that were planted in 1903 on it. You have the full expression of the terroir, the purity of the Bobal. You have the history of my father transmitting the land, and we have the history of as well my mother. That, I mean, people cannot see, but we have some paint made by the post-impressionist painter from Aix-en-Provence. We choose one of the painters and we put it there. My grandfather was a patron in France, and it has a beautiful collection of painting. We didn't want to make that too much of art and wine, but yes, we wanted to take a hint of our family history, and we choose the black and white scratch, as you can see. We added a little bit of orange to keep on the tone of the wine, but so it's a combination of all of this.
It's the term we use here is, I can't believe I can't remember it. It's like done in pencil and graphite. It's
in charcoal.
In charcoal, that's what I was looking for.
Okay.
It's a charcoal drawing, and it's very modern and beautiful. It really is Unico.
It's Unico. As well as you can see, there is 3 person. Yeah. In my family, we have 3 brothers, and the 3 brothers are almost the core of this project. We get together to do it. This is as you know, you were talking about the wine that you are unity. So there is also some unity on that aspect, because we grew up in Spain, and we grew up in a very little place in Spain, close to Valencia, and then somehow we have the need to go out And so in a moment of our life, we are all spread. My big brother lives in London, so comes very often to Spain, but lives in London. My twin brother lives in Peru. At the time, in 2015, I was living in Australia. So the communications of our family was a little bit, we love each other. We want to talk to each other. And it was a bit broken because of the distance. When I wake up, my brother is going to sleep and this and that. So we got together to take what we have, our heritage, what we have in our family, and together we did that. So this is why Unico represents a lot to us and me personally. Yeah.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. But now you live where?
So the story of moving never ends, but I hopefully, yes, it did. Now I live now in Tel Aviv, and I spend my time of living in Tel Aviv and flying back to Spain as much as I can.
Very good. Tell me a little bit about, let's talk a little bit about Unico. Mm-hmm. It's all Bobal, and how is it planted? How is it? Tell me a little bit about it.
So, if we go back to the beginning, it's coming because of the need of preserving who we are and a real essence of our region. In our region, we have Bobal, and we have some pre-phylloxera vineyards that are today over 100 years old. That obviously the yield is super low. And if you go in terms of economically, is not really worth it. But for us, was so important to preserve that. Obviously, these vineyards they give us something very unique, very special. I mean, they've been there for 100 years, and they are growing and giving some particularities to the wine. So let's say that Unico started from there. So we made 100% Bobal from ungrafted pre-phylloxera vineyards. And not only that, we wanted to bring to the scene a Bobal that is as pure as possible. And this is why sometimes I think it's, for some people, it's not well understood. Because sometimes you take something so pure that it takes so minutes to the people to drink it, to taste it, and to retaste it. But then they realize what is it, okay? We could have done it, we could have put it into French oak or American oak and to do a classical, fine wine. But we wanted to show the purity of Bobal, so we choose the tinaja. The amphoras. We were fascinated about the amphoras always. We always saw it in our region. If you go to some of the village, you can see it on the ground, but just as a museum. And we were fascinated to be, to start doing it. So in 2017 already we planned. 2018 we started doing it, and we did 1,500 bottles. And we were, maybe as a mistake, but we were amazed about the results, not because of what the people could think about it, it's because we finally found what we really like about Bobal. At the time, we were changing a little bit the way of how Bobal was done in the region. So we are unconventional, let's say, even in our region. We are trying to go for a profile which is a bit more fresh, more pure, and so on. So the tinaja allow us to show that. Okay, the tinaja it's also bringing some micro-oxygenation. Okay?
It does.
But it's not
without oak, without adding the flavors and what have you. It's
exactly.
a purer way of doing the micro.
Exactly. So you have the Bobal, and then it's going to age. It's going to during 14 months and into the clay amphora jars, and it brings a result that is super fruity, but age advanced in something else, and we can taste it.
We can taste it. Is it a wine that you want to age over time, or is it a wine that is very approachable now, or is it, what's the drinking window for something like this?
So 2018 was the first vintage.
Okay.
I still having some, not in Israel anymore. Right. Even in my personal, I don't have it anymore. I drink it all. But in Spain, we still having it, and we still checking and what is the potential of it. In 2018, it's up to date. Is extraordinary. So today I brought you 2020, and I brought you as well a wine is called Finca Cerezal of 2020 as well, a different parcel, but it has been aged on French oak for you to compare how Bobal can show different profiles, depending on how, depends on the soil.
Awesome.
And the vinification. Awesome. So I want you to have that perspective.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. To try out the same varietal, but just done two different ways. Fantastic.
Exactly. So most of the people, when they ask us, so what is the difference? Because at the end of the day, I have all my wines are made with 100% Bobal, except of one. Okay. And the same thing almost for the whites. Everything is Macabeo. And people are sometimes used to have, when they try a wine from a specific winery, sometimes they are, what is the difference? Well, this one is Cabernet Sauvignon, this one is Merlot, this one has a blend. In our wines are 100% Bobal, except of one. And at the moment when I explain to people that the difference of the wines are the soil, because, a few kilometers, the soil can be completely different. It can be more clay, more calcareous, and the personality will be completely different. The age of the wine, because our project is based on old vines, but we can have wines, vineyards that are 70 years old, or we can have the pre-phylloxera, which is what I brought today. We can have vinification process, which is different between the tinaja and the fine. So we have Bobal, different profiles. And yeah,
very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So let's taste.
Let's taste it.
Unico.
Actually,
Unico.
So welcome to Bobal. Welcome to the land of Bobal. Welcome to Valencia. There is a concept as in terms of a terroir or more like geographical. We're working on it. It's called Altos Levantinos. Okay. So Altos is heights. Mm-hmm. Levantinos is Levante. Okay. We have a Levante in Spain. Our, side of Valencia is called the Spanish Levante. Not in North Catalonia, not in the south of Spain, but that exact point, that area is called Levante. And we are in the heights of Levante. If you see at the map of Mediterranean coast of Spain, on the 70 kilometers from the beach, from the coast, we are the highest area of all the Mediterranean coast. Okay? So this is why we call it Altos Levantinos. This is going to bring a personality on it, which I think is very characteristic.
Mm. It's a beautiful deep shade. It's still red. It's not purple or something. It's a beautiful shade of red.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, it's also got an incredible nose.
So,
go ahead.
So whenever you come to Spain, so you are most welcome. So I already sent the invitation to come to Spain, and I sent to everyone. Despite what is going on in Spain, I think it's just a lapsus of But I welcome everyone, and if when you come, you will try the 2018, and you will think, wow, how young is this wine? In terms of the color, the taste, and so on. We are amazed about the results of the tinajas.
Wow, that is surprising.
So Bobal grape variety is an indigenous Spanish variety. It's because it's Spanish, because it's Mediterranean, because there is a lot of hours of sun, so the skin of the Bobal can be thicker.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bobal is young, can bring like shkolot, like vigorous and big and clusters that can bring lots of numbers of grain and this and that. This is why we like to use old vines. Suddenly the shkolot are less number of grains, the size of the grains are smaller, and the production is less. Bobal can give a lot of color and lots of tannins to the wine.
Mm-hmm.
This is a wine that maybe probably in all the wines that we have, it's the one has more structure. But what we try to do with this one is trying to keep the medium body, medium plus on this one,
mm-hmm.
with a great structure and great intensity on the mouth without being too heavy. Okay?
Yeah, it's not. It's lovely. It's not too heavy, and it's also not very tannic. You can taste the tannin. You can feel the tannins, but they're very acceptable.
They are very well polished.
Yeah.
And when I was telling you that we are unconventional as well from the wines of our region, I think the general thing when you do Bobal is to make wines that are a bit more tannic and more body and so on. But we wanted to take a different approach. We wanted to take the approach of having more refreshing wines, less body, yet intense on the experience in the mouth. So this is pure Bobal. You get to have these red fruits, Sylvester fruits on the mouth. Yeah, and I think it's a great example of what we do.
Okay. So, while we're tasting this, let's talk a little bit about the family story and the founding of the winery. It seems to be a very personal family project. Can you walk us through the moments your mother, Annie, decided we're going to turn these old vines into a winery, and what that meant for your family that was scattered across the world?
So I think in this certain moment of your life, you go back to your origins and you go back to your childhood. Mm-hmm. I grew up with my father. We grew up with my father since I don't remember, picking and walnuts, apples, pears, grapes, all kind of things when we were young. My father always brought us to help. My father was into agriculture. My grandmother from my father as well. It was viewpoint. As I said before, the thing of unity was very important. Suddenly to take all the brothers and come back to a common project where we have to be obligatory to communicate. Be together. That was very important. To do it with my parents was as well very important. I think the sense of unity in family, it's very important for us, and this is something that we were missing. At the same time, I studied finance, and I was working on that space. And so, at some time, you said, okay, what do you want to do in your life? You want to work on a bank or so on, or you want to go back to where you were, is where you feel the better. On the third point, I would say that, as I said before, these very low-populated, very old vineyards, if you were not doing something unique with it, it will go away.
Right.
And maybe it's just my generation, no? That we still, 88, that we were thinking you have to do it something special with it. You cannot let it go. It's over 100 years old. The quality of the grapes that we were having, it was exceptional. We were selling it to people that wanted to do something unique, but even though you have to pay for it, who is paying for it? At the end of the day, we thought that we have to do what we always wanted to do a project together, to take these very old wines and to create unique wines. My mother said, okay. She's the one sometimes uniting and putting it all together. One of the conditions for her was that everything will be kosher. And we all said, okay, now that's a different story, right? We know about the nature, we know about the viticulture, we know about all of this, but kosher is something quite particular, especially on wine, and unity, and coming back to origins, going back to where we wanted to be.
Very cool. What are the roles of all the brothers? What are the roles in the winery between you and your two brothers and your parents?
So if I start from my father is the landman. He's the one who's taking care of the vineyards. He's he's happy to be spending the time out there, understanding what this vintage is going to happen, what we do, if there is rain, no rain, when we have to do the pruning, if we have to do it before or after, depends on the situation. So my father is, and sometimes I envy him so much. He has a passion and patience that I envy that so much. My mother is doing everything. Is doing operations. Is doing
the business manager.
Is the business manager. I'm like as in a family business, you have to do everything, right? You go on sales, like you go on visiting, you go on cleaning barrels, you go to help your father to clean this and that. So I personally do a bit of everything. I do things that I wish one day we grow enough so I don't have to do it. So I will be more concentrated on what we do in the vineyards. My big brother is a oil trader, broker in London, and he is representing the UK market and is also being part of our tasting panel. Okay. My twin brother is called Victor, and it's a professional pilot. Since he's young, he dreams about being a pilot. So he's a plane, commercial pilot, and he is the official importer in Peru, and is also representing the wines in South America.
Okay.
At the same time, he's part of the tasting panel. And we have a WhatsApp group that is popping every single minute talking about everything regarding the wines.
I was going to say, with everybody so spread, you must be so thankful for WhatsApp, because everything has got to be on a WhatsApp group.
Everything is WhatsApp right today. Right. Everything. It's sometimes if you go back to the reality, you have to say WhatsApp is not enough. You have to go and meet. We meet a lot. My brother Victor is flying a lot. For him to do 10 hours flight is like for you to do 20 minutes driving. And he said, "How you coming just for 3 days from Peru to Valencia?" "Yes, I'm coming." And he's going back to his things. Yeah, I think the world at the end of the day, we made it smaller.
Very cool. Very cool. Why did you pick Bobal? It's kind of the workhorse grape of Spain, but why did you choose that as your flagship?
I think we didn't choose Bobal. I think Bobal chose
us. Because of the old vines.
We at the end of the day, we didn't want to do. We were not looking to do a wine in Spain. At the end of the day, we have to do what we had, okay? And what we have was Bobal. And I think even though Bobal, maybe it was easier maybe to do something like Tempranillo, or which there are a little bit,
or Garnacha,
or something that is commercially easier to or more recognizable, no, for the most of the people, no. But at the end of the day, we went to what we love the best and what we like the most, Bobal, and we were not scary at all if people know or yes, no, or they don't know, or we wanted to, regardless, in the bottle, almost you cannot see which grape variety is made. When it's in the back of the label, you can see that it's Bobal. At the end of the day, what we are trying to sell is an expression of a terroir, an expression of that sense. So the Bobal is part of the project, also the soil. We have a calcareous-clay soils. If the common denominator of our region, Valencia, Hotel Requena, Alicante, Jumilla, all this area, is the calcareous soils. In our area, we have a bit more of clay. You can see in that wine, Unico, specifically the content of clay, a bit more structured, a bit more bold, and yeah, I think Bobal chooses at the end of the day.
These are all naturally grown, or naturally? Do you water these vines? Do you use pesticides? How do you normally go about your...
They are grown as the same way as 100 years ago.
Okay.
So
wow.
Our region, for many things, it's naturally organic. We are in 800, 900 meters altitude. So it's a dry region. Okay, so we have less that humidity, but we have winds coming from the Mediterranean, a bit humid winds coming from the Mediterranean. But think about it, we have from the west coming dry winds coming from La Mancha. When they are clashing together, they are creating a just perfect microclimate for the growing of a vineyard. We have a great current of winds. So sometimes, for example, in spring that we have sunny and then it's raining, and then we have more chance to have some difficulties in terms of fungus and so on. But there is a very nice current of wind, so we'll dry up the vineyards a bit better. Okay. So we are naturally organic. We got, just because the certification in 2022, after 4 years of working on it, but it's naturally organic. We work in a sustainable way. So no machines, no irrigation, just what Hashem gives us. And I think that's helped us more to express what we have in the soil. Suddenly, somehow the roots are looking for themselves the water, so go deeper and go exactly what they need to do. And on the way to go deeper, they go for different, soils that happens on the...
So for a kosher wine drinker who's used to Cabernet and Merlot, how would you describe Bobal?
Actually, if I have to compare with Cabernet, the Bobal also has a capacity of making bigger, Gouv Malais.
It's a fullness. It has a fullness.
Yes, I just said the word in Hebrew, and then suddenly we got...
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember it in English. So, yes.
And
to make to make a person full life, but it's also a full mouth. It gives you
right.
It's got a full mouth feel.
Right. So if you we have the colors, the point of colors of a Malbec, for example.
Yeah.
We have the fruitiness of the Monastrell, Mourvèdre, like we said in French.
Okay.
But generally speaking, what we try to do is to make, as I tried to explain before, we try to make wines that are more refreshing, less body, yet intense. That's what we try to do it in the ones that we are doing. Yeah.
I think that's a spot on description.
Mm-hmm.
It's right on.
Mm-hmm.
It's intense, but it's a lighter wine. It's not a full wine, but it's more intensity than a Grenache or something along those lines.
And this one, this one has a bigger structure. Today I didn't bring the Magos Duopol, but if you bring Magos Duopol, is even lighter in body, and super intense. Yeah.
So this is from Amphoras? This is from...
So this is made with 100% handcrafted tinajas, amphoras, 1,000 liters, so more or less 2 meters. There is bigger than that. Huh? They used to. I don't really. I need to check on the old people in the village, because some places they have even 2,000 or 3,000 liters amphoras under the house. And they said, first of all, you have to cook them. Where have you cooked like 3,000 liters amphora, and then how you have put this under your house? So there's some mystery there that we just need to do. Yeah. But this is 100% tinaja. Especially in the Unico, we use it for all the process. So we bring the grapes to the winery. We crush them, not press. So we crush them. We throw them to inside the tinaja. Okay. There they're gonna do the alcoholic fermentation. And most of the meat will be in contact already with the skin, so it's not separate. So they're gonna do the alcoholic fermentation. Once it's finished, we take it out. Not an easy job, When they just going back to the kosher, when the maskechim, when they come to our wineries, some of them they think that they're gonna press a button, and they figure out they have 1,000 kilos of, or less with the 100 kilos of grapes to take out from the top, and then they have to put it into the semi-automatic vertical press, and they actually. At the end of the day, when they see that and they see there is a really tough work, because at the end of the day, it's all handcrafted. And it's amazing how to see them that they are kind of like at the beginning, having some complications to do it. But at the end of the day, when they have finished the wine, because this wine takes like 2-3 days to do it, they are so blessed and so happy because they have made the wine
themselves with their own hands.
And this is something that they are not used to, And
it's connecting tubes and running pumps and
exactly.
Yeah.
So
this is like real.
All the workout they didn't do in the yeshiva, or sometimes we bring people from Israel. They have done it there, and they go so happy. Yeah.
Very cool. Talk to me. We talked a little bit about the amphoras. We talked a lot about them, but is there a specific way that they change the wine compared to oak?
I think it just respects more the pure sense of the grape variety. That's the sense of it. It respects, and it let it express by itself better than the barrels, in my point of view. Okay, so what you're getting here, it's 100% Bobal. There is nothing else. Okay, and it's a super complete wine. Has everything that you will not miss anything, and has not been touched the barrel. That's the magic of that wine as well. Mm-hmm. To get to do this wine is not just taking the grapes and put it in the tinajas. It's a mix of decisions, right? Including the harvest. I think for Unico, for each wine, even though we do very small batches of bottles, 3,000, 4,000 of each, we do every year 5 harvests and 5-6 harvests. Each wine has its own time. And for this one is the last one that we do. Okay, so generally speaking, let's not go over for the last years. It has been a bit crazy before and this and that.
It's totally dependent on the
but in generally speaking, if most of the wines on the red wines we do end of September or first week of October. So for Unico we go just a little bit more. We go for a week more or less. Depends on the time, how it's ready. We go for the phenolic ripeness a little bit more advanced. We want the seed and the skin a little bit more advanced, and I think this is going to complete the essence of the wine. So not a late harvest. So now sometimes when I try to explain that to some people, they say, "Oh, it's a late harvest." No. We just want the phenolic ripeness of all of it, just a little bit more advanced, because when we put it into the clay, we think that it will express better. Yeah.
This is not late harvest in the traditional sense of sweetness and what have you. This is a wonderful, dry, medium light. I won't say light wine, but it's got, again, it's very focused, very structured. It's very nice.
Yeah, I would say medium plus. I think that's the right, and it's so elegant.
Yeah,
that sometimes you could say, okay, maybe it's lighter, but no, it's the structure of the wine is there, and yeah.
You dedicated a whole line of wines to the Memorias del Rambam.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, and tell me about the Jewish content of, the Jewish historical.
So, Memorias del Rambam. Memorias del Rambam was the first wine that we made, and it was the first name that we picked. For us, Rambam in Spain, we see it as a cultural, as something iconic in Spain, regardless of Judaism or regardless of religion. It's this iconic personage of all the Sephardim, right?
Right.
So when we were looking for a new name for our first wine, we thought about Rambam. For us, Rambam in Spain has been always very, very close, and we chose Memorias del Rambam. We did the first wine. I think the people was mixed feelings, I think, with that name. What could be? What is Memorias del Rambam? If it will be a serious wine or less serious wine or more commercial. But I think we choose that in the sense of I think we couldn't find better person or better personage in Spain than him that could represent that. And he liked wine. He advised for wine. He was really connected to wine. And I think we did a good choice. People love it. We have a black label. It's that we are having great success here in United States as well. And by the way, probably there will be, I don't have it today here, but probably will be the most classic Spanish wine that we have made. Okay, that's a wine that is made 100% with the American oak. And American oak, it's a classical way of winemaking in Spain. And people connected very well with that wine too.
But it's also Bobal.
It's also Bobal. Okay. Again, it's 100% Bobal, and it's coming from 75 years old vineyards with calcareous-clay soils, very old, very rich in clay content as well, but 12 months in American oak. Yeah, and when you will have it, nothing like Unico.
Wow.
A bit more aromatic, these notes of the American oak hints are going out, vanilla, cocoa, cinnamon, dark chocolate on the back. Yeah, I
like this Unico very much.
So many people. It's like, for example, go and try, Bordeaux, classic Bordeaux, kosher classic Bordeaux, and I wish we could have the same wine but no oak. Most of the people that we recognize that wine, they love that wine. You give them the same wine, aged the same time in the tinaja, and I think they will be completely lost. So when we brought
lost in a good way or in a bad way?
Depends for who, Some people they don't like it. Some people they
love it.
It becomes the best wine for them. They chosen wine. Right?
Yeah.
So this is the impressions when the people are trying Unico. They said, "Hey, something is very new. So it's not the taste I usually have. What is it?" Okay, do you understand that wine? I don't understand that wine. For example, I told you that I was doing the import myself in Israel, and people look at the bottle. They say, "Wow, it's a beautiful bottle. It's very appealing, and this and that." And I tell to most of the boutiques that I sell the wine, don't sell this wine to someone who has just the money to buy it. Sell that wine to wine lovers that they pick these. They will understand it very well, and they come regularly to buy that one. Sometimes that they want just a flashy wine or something. I said, okay, you know what, go buy the Yarden, or whatever, and it will be. But for my wine, it's not for everyone. This one, especially this one, we are looking for those curious wine lovers, amateurs that are looking for something beyond.
What's the pricing level here of this one?
So here in Israel is around 2,040 shekels. 240. Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
240 shekels. Very cool. But it's also very limited.
It's very limited. Yeah. What I bring to Israel is around 800 bottles, more or less. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about, when we were discussing offline before, you told me not only about Spanish, but Ladino. Tell me a little bit about the Jewish
interaction.
Yeah.
So
especially in today's world where people are actually scared of what's going on in Spain, from not what's going on the street, but that the president of Spain is...
Spain, yeah. For me, again, I grew up all my life in a very small community, far away from, but I grew up always with this, with the Judaism and my values and this and that. Some people knew that I was Jewish, and we were family Jewish, and we never had a problem. And if I remember one time when we were kids, I think in the park, someone screamed at us like for far away. We didn't know even who was it, a Judío, like in a way that I think it just was really. I don't think they were saying that as an insult. It was like, for them, was so curious that suddenly in this 50,000 people, there is a Jewish family, and they heard about what is Judaism and this and that, but they never saw it. They never, they think that we have to look at maybe at these Nazi propaganda pictures with the nose or something. I don't know. Anyway, so for me, I never experienced in Spain nothing. I think people who has the culture, I think they are very well connected with us. It's like evangelicals in the United States. Those in Spain that have some, they are connected to the roots, to the Christianism and this and that. When they see the Jewish people, they are so curious and so happy, and so yeah. I think I always felt good things in terms of Ladino. To be true with you, I had a lot more influence of Ladino in Israel, and I started to get more interested in Israel, because in Spain, at the end of the day, the Jewish community there are not practicing it a lot at all. The Ladino is more the communities are sometimes whether in Israel or Turkey, that suddenly. I told to your wife that the first time I really heard the Ladino, it was someone who was speaking to me in Ladino, but I thought he was trying to speak with me in Spanish, and I said, hey, this guy is, he's trying to speak to me in Spanish, but he's doing it very wrong. And actually, he was speaking to me when he explained to me that it was, no, this is the Ladino. And I said, wow, it's so close, it's so interesting, and this is when I got to get really close to the Ladino. And there is one of the wines that we did in the first time in 2022 that we choose to call it Alcuna.
But you know what I want to taste? I want to taste the other red.
Okay, so the other red is so I brought the same vintage to 2020, so you can have a comparison of both of them. This one is called Finca Cerezal. So Finca Cerezal. So Finca, usually it's a name that in Spain we use for a single parcel wine. So Finca is just that specific parcel. And Cerezal is the name that we choose for it. Cerezal, it's, how you say, orchid plantation?
Yes.
Like a Douve de Vanim.
Okay.
So in our area, in our terroir, as I said before, is a high altitude terroir. And we have also cherries growing. And not too many, but we have a cherry plantation growing over there. And it's close to that specific parcel. So this one, it's if in Unico you have calcareous-clay soils with high content of clay, here you're going to have very calcareous, very elegant soils. So also this is a pre-phylloxera vineyard. In this case, we have 2.97 hectares of 100% Bobal. Okay, so in that one, in Unico, you're going to see the power of Bobal. And in Finca Cerezal, which has been aged 12 months in French oak, you're going to see the finesse of the elegancy of the Bobal. Mm-hmm. So when I was telling you that Unico is unconventional, here we have this classical profile. Okay, the French wood, it's adding that personality that somehow it's more recognizable, in generally speaking.
This is a much deeper ruby red, and you can definitely tell it's been on oak. So
in 2020 we use it 100% of French oak. Of 225. Since from 2021, we put only 30% new, and we bring the 500 liters barrels. Okay, so minimal intervention, less impact, more respecting the Bobal. On it.
This is not heavily oaked. It's not like sometimes they're so oaky, it's like eating toothpicks. But
exactly.
this is not like that at all.
Exactly.
It's there. The only reason I can really sense it is because of the Unico.
Okay, the comparison of both. But you can appreciate the without going too much into the hints of here or them, the personality of our winemaking style and what we want to show to people with Bobal. Okay, wine as well has to be somehow adapt itself to the new currents. Also, Bordeaux is not the same as it was 10 years or 30 years. So things are moving, and we saw probably you know what, that's the funny thing, that when you are in a business family, that each one is coming from a different side. My mother has been a great influence on the personality of the winemaking. Mm-hmm. Elegance, Méranais, more refreshing, more elegant, less wood, more respecting the grape variety, more respecting the soil, and wines that you can enjoy very well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lovely. Who's the winemaker? You're all the winemaker, or do you have a winemaker who's there?
So we have a winemaker that is called, it's more like technical director.
Okay.
It's called Daniel Exposito. Okay. And it's funny because, the Jewish influence in Spain was so big that they said like a huge percentage of the Spanish population has some Jewish background, right? So he's called Daniel. Okay, and it's called Exposito, which is also a very, at least was a very Jewish surname. So he is like Bobal. He was born there. He's been living there. His father also was into the wine business, and when we will talk about the Macabeo, he was one of the founders of the Ocaba in our region.
Okay.
That today, if the appellation is called for wine, is called Uteo Utiel Requena, as only the side of Requena is also de Ocaba, and we'll go back to that, is also Cava Requena. Okay, So he's the founder of that, one of the founders of that region. So he is there. He knows Bobal. He was born with Bobal. He was been playing with Bobal all his life. He understands very well the Bobal. He's very sensitive, and he understood since the beginning that's what we wanted for the wines. Okay, he was doing his own wines. He's very specialized on the sparkling, and in 2000 already when we started the conversation that we were having together and tried to explain what we want from that specific parcels that we have, what we want to do with that, what we expression that we want to do, and he understood very well what we wanted, and has been one of the pillars of that project. Mm-hmm.
So, talk to me a little bit about the process. When you're doing it in amphoras, do you basically take certain parcels and put them together in different amphoras, and then at the end test each of the amphoras and blend it?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So there is this last wine, Finca Cerezal, is 2.97 hectares, so which is very small.
Yeah,
and we choose that parcel because of the characteristics of the parcel and the soil and this calcareous profile that we really like it, and we thought that we could bring such a beautiful and elegant finesse, and as a whole this is what we wanted to show. Finca Cerezal, so no need to separate. On Unico we have 3 parcels, and we separate. We try to get more or less 1,000 and almost 2,000 liters per parcel, and again 100% Bobal, same age, and it's super curious to see just the difference between the type of soils. So in the general common ground of these 3 parcels for Unico is because of the higher content of clay, which is going to be a bit more powerful to the wine, and this is what we wanted to show you.
Okay.
The same thing for the whites.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Making fully kosher wine in a relatively remote part of Spain, it's not an obvious path. Have there been challenges?
I mean, when you go and you want to make wine from over 100 years old vines, and you think that is going to be the challenge because of the quantity and this and how you work and how you pick it and this and that, and you think that's going to be the hard part. When the kosher comes into ground, I think making wine is this is the easiest part.
There's a lot of winemakers in Israel who would say the same thing,
and especially in Spain, because the community is very low.
So we've been joined by Joshua London. Welcome. This is an unusual treat to have him here from London.
The treat's entirely mine. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay.
So we have the Unico and
Finca Cerezal. So I brought to Simon two Bobal, 200% Bobal, same vintage, 2020. So he can see the difference of different personalities, different aspects of Bobal. One of them aging in the tinajas, and the second one aging in the French barrels.
The tinajas are French, are amphoras.
Yeah, the clay amphoras.
Just making sure you're up to speed.
And I think when I tasted wines with Rami, he told me a little bit about them, but if you haven't already covered it, I'd love to hear more details about the manufacture and sort of what's the tradition and how they work out size and specs and all that kind of stuff. I'm just, my geek side, curious.
So if there was one that we wanted to show it as to go back on how the wines were made like a few hundred years ago in the region, so that's Unico. This is why we use it also the tinajas. We didn't use the tinajas as for a romantic or fun way to do it. We wanted to go as much as genuine on the way our region was, our terroir was using were made in wine. So as I explained to Simon, if we go back to the harvest, for example, in the two red wines, usually more or less we go for reds on end of September, October. Okay, if we start from there, Unico, we wait a little bit more. We want the phenolic ripeness to be a little bit more advanced, the seeds and the skin a little bit more advanced. We want the seed a little bit when you put in your teeth and it's a bit more crunchy.
Yes.
So that's what we wanted for Unico, and we started from there. We bring the grapes, hand-picked grapes to the winery early in the morning. We steam and we crush them. They go directly to the tinajas as in a paste, like puff, 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 puff. So at the beginning there is not much of a juice. We're gonna leave it. There's gonna happen the alcoholic fermentation. We want that connection, that meat together with the skin, not separate. And as soon as the alcoholic fermentation is done, otherwise we were joking about that, but because of some mashgichim, they are thinking they're gonna come to click a button, and there is no buttons in
Old school.
in that moment. So they have to they have to take this 100 kilos per 900 kilos per tinaja, no, and to pull them out from the top and directly put it into vertical semi-automatic press, and we do a gentle press. Go back to the tinajas for 14 months. Okay, so they're gonna stay there. You're gonna see that each tinaja has its own personality. It has been made handcrafted. So sometimes after a few months, you started to see that some parts of the tinaja are a bit more humid, and the other ones are a bit less humid. So you can see that which one is, and each tinaja is gonna have a different personality. And we were talking about micro-oxygenation, right?
Yeah.
And if there is something I could say after all of these years making, I think the micro-oxygenation of both the tinaja and the barrel are pretty much the same in terms of quantity, but I think the tinaja is a little bit more irregular. Okay. Maybe because of this handmade product that, like I say, in some sizes are going to be more porosity, and the other ones a bit more porosity. I think the barrel brings a little bit more consistency, but yeah.
And I'm curious, for the tinaja, how many producers use it in the region still, or have gone back to it? And actually, I'm curious, how many producers of tinaja are there in terms of actually manufacturing them? How many artisans are there involved in?
So Unico was made in 2018, and in my region, I think we were doing it no more than 3. Okay. Although we have a museum where you go into the museum and you see the tinajas, you see, wow, how beautiful. And that was the thing, we were in a region with a long history. We have the oldest archaeological sites of winemaking all Spain and Portugal in Utiel Requena. Okay. And part of it was the small tinajas, the small amphoras. And then we saw in the museums, and then we saw a neighbor that is showing us, oh, look at the tinajas that we have. And we were thinking, why we don't use them? Why we don't try to make wines as they were done before? Obviously, in a more modern and in a more fine way, but why not to use it? And then we started looking at who is doing tinajas. Not easy story either. In 2025, who wants to do tinajas? Everyone wants to, earn a lot of money doing something else, and this and that. And these jobs are less and less, being demanded. And for us, we talked with 2-3 of them. We didn't want to bring tinajas on for us from somewhere else. I think in Italy they do very fashionable ones and this and that.
You can get them in China now.
Yeah.
They bring them from China. No, because there's a number of wineries in Israel that use amphoras.
For me, that's completely right. I think we believed on the work that these people were doing it. Also, a few generations of doing that. And if you want to hear something curious, we didn't choose that just for that, but for us was the spark that. So we choose different tinajas. We bought some of them just to try, and we thought that the ones that we are using today is, I don't know if it's the best but the ones that were fitting the what we wanted to express, the profile that we wanted to show, and my mother was looking at the tinajas, and suddenly she sees how they were signing the tinajas, and
Rami showed me a picture of it.
Yes, and we didn't we figured out once the tinajas were at our place, and then we saw how they knew it, how they knew we were Jews. The owner of the place, they were signing with a Magen David. So we called him, and he said, "Hey, okay, it's very nice, the star that you put." "Oh, no, this is how we sign all our tinajas." I said, "What? Who is signing? Only you?" No, that's something that's coming from even my grandfather, or even before my grandfather." And I said, "Wow!" And we liked the style of the tinaja. And then when we saw the Magen David, we said, "That's it. That's
There's so many hidden symbols back to the Jews were involved in these things. So the name Macabeo.
So the Macabeo is not clear yet where exactly it is coming from. Okay, I personally don't know, and people in the region don't know. And I did some research. Even I have used ChatGPT.
It doesn't
just for curiosity, and probably, this region where we are right now was so important back a few thousand years ago. So probably there is a connection. But again, we are using Macabeo. That's the grape variety that it's more representative in our terroir, in our region, and also in Spain. And it's called Macabeo. So we couldn't be more happy.
Your vineyards are sitting between 600 and 900 meters above sea level. They're dry farms with no irrigation. How does the combination of altitude and stress shape the style of your Bobal and Macabeo compared to the lower irrigated vineyards?
Lower irrigated vineyards that
other people have. How is your style different, or is it?
Okay, so if during the last years, they have been quite dry years.
Yeah.
No, last year was better, and this year, 2025, started very well, but we will not see the results until next year, really, because, vineyards, they need time to recover, even though the same year it rained, but it needs time to recover. So hopefully next year we'll have an excellent year, we'll see. But, for example, in 2020, 2022, that were really, really, really hot, the vineyards that express the best, or they were more resilient, were the ungrafted ones. The ungrafted, that there were no irrigation, the ones that they get to express better, because at the end of the day, all the vineyards, they give some certain kilos of grapes, and you can do wine of it. But if you compare ones to each other, the ones that were more expressive, more natural, they were the ones that are ungrafted. So, these vines are there for over 100 years, and it's just for the reason that they are the genuines of that place, and they know how to react on in moments of a lot of stress. Okay, so that was one of the reasons as well that we are amazed of that ungrafted. By the way, today is illegal in Spain and Europe to plant ungrafted. Everything has to be grafted. And I think we will come back to that. We need to do some research. Pre-phylloxera is very important. And if suddenly, we do all ungrafted and it kills all the vineyards, will be a catastrophe. But we need to go back. We need to see which clones are, or how we can, are better, which ones they can adapt it more. And again, to go back to that, the ones they were more resilient, they were the ones that were more autonomous. They have the roots that go way deeper, and it just not just deeper. They go to the last place where it could be some water. And we feel it. We feel it on the wines. We personally don't have any vineyard that's irrigated, so we don't know exactly in terms of winemaking. But inside our vineyards, the ones that were ungrafted, they express better than the ones that were grafted.
It's interesting, We think we know what we're doing by all of these interventions.
We underestimate sometimes the vine, right?
Yes.
The vine, it's very resilient, it's very strong. True, okay, today everything is very globalized, everything very mixed. If you are putting some Albarino in my region or some, variety that is not made with it, I mean, it works because the land and because you water but if it's not naturally from there, then we'll have lots of troubles. But if again, and I think this is what happens today all around the world, even in regions like Bordeaux, they are going back to the native varieties. Okay,
I want to talk bubbles. Bubbles.
We love bubbles, huh? By the way, and when we are gonna make the statement of the bubbles in the kosher market, that was, let's say, the second part of our, business plan or agenda.
Yeah.
It's the bubbles. So, yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. I don't understand why people make sparkling wines. It's so much work. It's so much effort. I mean, it depends how you make them sparkling. You can just simply introduce.
It's so much treasury as well.
Yeah. No.
And we are going to talk about that.
Yeah. But the traditional method, the results are fantastic.
The results are fantastic, but the results take a huge amount of work.
They do. Well, yeah.
But we are, at the end of the day, we are in a business is called wine, and patience is maybe the main factor of it. So you have, if we want to, especially in the kosher market, if we want to upgrade, generally speaking, all the level of all the wines, we need a bit more. We need a bit of patience, and we need to, and especially on the sparkling. The sparkling white has been in the kosher world has been underestimated or has been not well treated. We have been seeing sparklings, generally speaking, and let's put aside the champagne because of but really, we didn't see. So when we come to the sparkling, first of all we wanted to show again terroir, because in Spain it's not like a champagne. We have a unified region. In Spain we have 4 sub-regions of cava. So 95 or 96% or whatever, it's the Comtats de Barcelona. All the region it's surrounded more or less Barcelona. Then we have Valle del Ebro, which is in the Ebro River, which is, Aragon, a little bit of Rioja. There's 2 points over there. So there is maybe like 1%, 2%, 1.5%. Then we have Almendralejos. That's another very Spanish, which is west of Madrid in the region of Extremadura. Again, 1% and something. And then we have the second biggest region of cava, which is in Requena. Okay.
Wow.
And the difference between, so we have 3%, okay, which is very small compared with, the Catalonia. But the main difference with our region is that we have this altitude that the other regions don't have. Comtats de Barcelona, we are talking about 300, 400, 500 meters. True, there is some peak somewhere 7 but the average altitude of our region is 700 meters, 800 meters. So then you're going to have a different personality on the sparklings on the sparklings of our region. Yeah.
The Ramban Brut Reserva Cava is from old Macabeo vines with at least 24 months on the lees. What makes that wine different from what most kosher drinkers expect from kava?
So again, I'm coming from a family that French is there. My mother is French, and the quality of the bubbles probably the most important here. So obviously the white wine has to be well made, the structure, fruity, and this and that. But now we are talking about bubbles, and when we're talking about bubbles, the integration in the mouth, the fine bubble, persistent, well integrated in the mouth, it's the most important. So when we're talking about patience, is giving time to things. The bubbles in the method traditional, they're going to be made by themselves, and the longer that we let them do their job,
right,
the better expression we are going to have in the bubbles. So we decided to do 100% Macabeo, because this is what it represents as the most. By the way, Macabeo grape variety is probably the most popular white grape variety. In La Rioja, it's called Viura.
Okay.
Different personality, because there is more Atlantic influence, less sun, and this and that. But Macabeo is the main grape for using for sparkling. We wanted to show, we could have done a blend, but we wanted to show in 2022, we wanted to show the great potential of Macabeo, which is perfect for sparkling because of mainly the structure that can bring to the sparkling. So we made 100% Macabeo, as we do everything in Viña Memorias, all vines. So again, in the old vines and the whites, we are talking about 45 years old. Non-irrigated, goblet training system, and again, if Macabeo can bring medium-sized grains, so when you see the Macabeos that are coming from this unirrigated of dry farming, then you find small grapes of Macabeo. We do the wine with it, and we let the magic happens with the time. So I like when we taste the sparkling, I like to taste it that way. First of all, we don't move the glass. We let it relax a little bit, and we're gonna taste it just to see the bubbles. Once we see the bubbles, how they react, we see if we like it, or they are big or small, or they're persistent or no, they are integrated or no. And then I like to move into the shaking it and see the aromas and so on. So I let it, I always like it to do that way. I let it a few seconds, and then I drink it. Anyway, I cheers for this, and thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure. These are beautifully fine bubbles.
Thank you.
Really?
So Daniel Exposito, it's a star of, his main thing is the bubbles. Has been 96, 97 decanter.
Wow.
And some of his personal things he does. And yeah. Last time we were talking about, and he was telling me that in a competition with the French champagne, that the judges, after they were mad against him because suddenly one of his sparklings was 97, and they thought they were champagne. If they knew there was a Spanish wine, a sparkling cava, they would give 97. But it was a blind tasting, and they give him a 97, and yeah. It was a good. So this is Macabeo. The personality is there. It's true that this one is coming already with a dosage brut, which for me brut, it's a very polyvalent, a wine that you can have it whether before or after. So I like it very much, very versatile. But here is present the Macabeo in a beautiful, elegant way. You have this bitterness on the back that characterizes very well the Macabeo. And many times the Macabeo, when you go to Spain or the Macabeos that are used for export, you will not see that on the Macabeo because they tend to do wines a bit more simple, more fruity, more. But it's important to show that touch.
This is still the finish. It's still going on. It's still going on.
It's amazing that it's incredibly refined,
right,
and yet spreads across the palate, engulfs the entire mouth. It's really, really nice because you have that finesse, and yet it still coats in a lovely way, and you get the taste sensation that just continues on and on. Really, really well done. That's really delicious.
Thank you.
Beautifully balanced. Incredibly beautifully balanced.
Thank you so much.
So between the bubbles and the balance and the finish, it's just hanging on the back of my palate.
Yeah, so 24 months, 30 months sometimes. So we do in Spain. We are lucky. We have pushed very hard to the Deocaba to do some changes. So go from 15 months. They jump it to 18 months to be considered as reserva. This one has a minimum of 24 months, but we do the disgorgement as soon as we sell. So sometimes we sell 1,000 bottles or 1,500, and we do the disgorgement, and then so the last one can have 30 months on this one, more or less, usually.
But the disgorgement is done, and then it goes straight out.
The disgorgement is done. So yeah, because I think from 2022, most of the bottles we're gonna be writing on the back the date of the disgorgement, because for me is the most important date to know. Because for example, you see like a sparkling from, let's say, 2003, okay, and we don't know, and it's on the shelf, and we don't know when this one has been disgorged. I mean, if it has disgorged like 6 months ago, 1 year ago, perfect. But if it's from 2003 and it has been disgorged in 2009, for me, there is a problem, okay? If there is something that allows the one to be protected and to go for longer longevity, it's the shmarim, it's the
lees.
The lees that is going to help and protect. And this is why we want to write on the back the tarikh, the date on when has been disgorged. For us, is very important in order to show quality. So this is a Macabeo. So I think we brought to the kosher market something quite unique. It's true that it's not the cheapest cava. Here in Israel is sold for 130 shekels, but we have brought something that's this handcrafted, these fine bubbles, this unique terroir on the table. The bottle there looks fantastic, and all as a package came very well. The market has accepted very well, and for the last 2025. Just has been one of our most sold bottles. I think there is do you remember, like maybe 3 years ago, there was a wave of rosé.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone wanted rosé. And I think the wave of the sparkling is coming for the kosher market, for the kosher consumers, because in the world there is already happening. By the way, all the winemakers around me, my friends, they have doubled the production on sparkling. And even though the white wines now they are sold better, right? So there is some producers, they have even didn't do white wine, they have done all sparkling because there is something coming.
Cava is normally, at least for me, like a fun light wine that's like a fun white.
Well,
it's sparkling.
For a lot of people, it's like an upscale Prosecco. It's cheaper than champagne. It's a little more refined, a little nicer in some respects, but it's not typically fine.
But it's not in the class of champagne.
Right, people don't think
this is in the class of champagne.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. This is in the, you gave this to people, they would never in a million years know that this was cava and not champagne.
So this is what I'm saying.
And it's Macabeo. It's not even Pinot, and it's not even a Chard. It's Macabeo. That's crazy.
So we want to look at the eyes of everyone, and mostly the champagne people.
Right.
I was born in France. I have my French culture inside of me, terroir, and what I can do, it's even I will need 100 years to get to what is to be champagne. So it's not just about the quality, this and that. It's just about the story, the tradition, and this and that. But in terms of quality, we want to look at the eyes of champagne. We want the people taste the wine and feel, hey, the quality is there and the value is there. Really happy about it, and this is how I because at the end of the day as well, how many people can afford as well champagne? We are bringing something quite good value to the market.
This is not an aged champagne. This has not got like the yeasty, bready taste to it that certain champagnes have that I particularly like. But as far as a newer champagne, this is fantastic.
So there has some brioche touch on the end because of the.
It has a little bit. Yeah, no, I'm not. It does.
It's interesting though. On the nose, you get I get at least much more sort of an almond pastry kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's a different profile initially than champagne, although you do get the brioche at the back end a little bit. But that almond thing, it's really
That's the
cool.
Macabeo.
Yeah, and it's really...
I think that's a Macabeo. It's really cool.
And
it's really cool.
If I can tell you something that most of the people, they don't know what is the difference. When they ask me what is the difference between champagne and cava, so you go on the main things, the region and Spain and the grape varieties and this and that. But yes, méthode champenoise is the same for both. But there is something very important, and is that in champagne, most of the champagne, if not all the champagne, has been done the malolactic fermentation.
Yeah.
Because they needed to do it, because sometimes if not, the acidity will be too high and this and that. Most of the cavas, unless specific that you wanted to bring a specific profile, but the cava is more, they didn't do the malolactic fermentation, and so you have a more fresh profile than champagne. Okay, so that's something quite.
This is like a fresher version of a really good champagne, because the bubbles are just perfect. They're these pinpoint bubbles that are just crazy.
It's amazing the softness and roundness of the bubbles.
Right.
It's amazingly delicate. And it's funny, I keep trying to think back to some of the other kosher cavas on the market. And, they're all pretty decent for what they are, but they're not this.
None of them impress me like this does.
Right, not even close.
I know, yeah, 100%.
And I'm a fan of them. Don't go,
Right.
But it's a different class.
This is, I think, the game changer here, and this is what we wanted to work with very hard, is being precise on exactly that, on the bubbles. I think, and you know what? And now we are, Simon, that we are in Israel, in Jerusalem. I believe that in Israel, most of the people, they are not connected with bubbles. It's just because most of the bubbles or cavas or whatever, they came to the market where the bubbles were very grotesque. And somehow the people didn't connect. But hopefully with this new wave, importers of kosher, they're bringing some better qualities, and people will connect more. And suddenly this, segment will be much more appreciated. I think in Israel, Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is some... there is new producers of sparkling, right? In Israel as well,
sure.
Right?
Sure. Yeah. No, it's become very popular in Israel. Almost all the producers are now starting to create a sparkling wine.
They're not all uniformly good in
no, not at all.
sense.
In fact, because they're just starting. I mean, look, even to get a sparkling wine that after you pour it doesn't blow the bubbles totally out of it, so that it's almost dead in the glass is a huge deal. This thing is, I have a little drip in the bottom of my glass, and it's still bubbling. It's still bubbling.
And you can close it today, and you can do the taste, and you can bring it tomorrow, and naturally you will have beautiful still bubble. And if I can say something that will be the first time, is that next year we will release the first Gran Reserva sparkling wine in the kosher market. So we're gonna go for Brut Nature. So in that sense, no zero dosage, no additional. We want to show netto for these crazy wine sparkling lovers. We're gonna bring something quite unique, and then we bring a Gran Reserva that we're gonna go over 35, 40. Let's see, we will try it now in January, February, and it will go for over 40 months aging traditional method, which is unknown in the Spanish market, in the Spanish kosher market. So we're going to bring something quite unique, and yeah, we're very happy about it to keep bringing these premium sparklings to the table.
That's exciting.
Since you're living in Tel Aviv some of the time, how are you finding the acceptance in Israel of your wines, especially the Bobal and also this?
I have to. I tell you the first experience. So the first time I did import the wine was in 2019. My Hebrew was really bad, and I was trying to get the licenses, and a headache, and was calling on the phone. People didn't understand me. At the end, I got the license, and I said, okay, let's try the first wine. So I brought a wine that I really loved. It was, at the time, Memorias del Rambam, a classic, as we call it at the time. And it was 100% Bobal. And it was something that is very typical from Spain, from the Mediterranean. A red wine, but lighter, less tannins, super fruity, but a little bit aged. So you get that roundness onto the wine. So I brought that to Israel in 2019. And I brought, like 2-3 pallets, and I had to sell it one bottle by bottle. It was impossible, because suddenly I bring to the market, a traditional market, I bring something completely the opposite. People were expecting for me to show them
big,
body, bold, this and that, and they said, no, but this is. Listen, guys, this is in all that region of Spain.
What year was that?
In 2019. But what happened?
Yeah,
COVID came, 2020. The COVID changed the way of suddenly many people that were not wine consumers got to the market of wine, changed consumers' perception. Some importers, they brought some new things, and then suddenly in 2021. It was almost my best sold wine in Israel. I was bringing at the time a wine that is the same wine, but with a different name. It's called Alenar Tinto, and then suddenly it was the best wine because people wanted something more fresh, more fruity, less body, more. You can have like amazing wines just without having this heavy part of it. And since then, I have been. God has blessed me. Every single day. The rosé that we do in Bobal, it's fantastic, and I've been introducing that to so many places, very happy. Since then, Unico, I found the perfect clients for that. Finca Cerezal it's just very easy to sell. And the sparkling now has been the last, push for me, because the market is accepting more sparkling. So
this is going to sell like crazy. As soon as people start to taste this and see this, I think that this is going to be crazy.
Is it yet in any of the high-end restaurants or hotel like Mabela, do they have this in you?
So the restaurants here, especially Mamila, and I knew very well the sommelier. They want mainly Israeli wines.
I get it.
Yeah. So,
I think this would be.
But if you go, for example, to the restaurant here in Hotel Ramban, Asaf Granit, which is kosher, so they have all my wines over there. So in that kind of places, you have the Finca Cerezal, they have Memorias Black.
That's where I tasted it. That's where I saw this before.
Probably.
I couldn't figure out where I've seen this before. I saw the label and I said, I know that label, but I think I was wondering whether it was kasher, but I think that's exactly where we had it in Granit's restaurant, because I asked for something unique and different, and they said, "Oh, unique, yeah, okay."
So, quick question: since we've pivoted back to the reds very quickly. I'm just curious, why the different bottle shapes? Why classic Bordeaux and more?
So most of the wines are Bourgogne, and most of the wines that we do in Bobal it's in Bourgogne. With again, it's Unico is when you are really thinking out of the box in every single sense, and the way of winemaking, the this and that. So we wanted to show something different as well. Yeah, I think again nothing very specific, but we wanted something different for Unico, and it has been also, the thing, you can make something very simple if you think it by yourself. But at the moment that you put more people into the table, simple things becomes sometimes complex in many different ways. So this is like, you do remember, like we were talking about the WhatsApp group and the family, and every single thing that we are discussing is being like 2 hours of discussion. Sometimes could be very tiring because, you have to convince your brother that this works, doesn't work, or he has to convince you. But at the end of the day, is exactly what we wanted. A bit of the unity of our family and yeah. So yeah. So I hope.
No, absolutely.
Some of the decisions that we took are just.
This is a man with a wine fridge, because the bottle size is changing. Is the most frustrating thing in the world. Now they're actually advertising wine fridges that can handle multiple size bottles for a change. But it's like, I buy this 250 bottle wine fridge and I can't fit any of my Burgundy bottles into the thing.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Oh, so you have or Burgundy or Bordeaux?
Yeah,
so
the racks are made specifically for it because they're too wide, so they can't pack them properly.
Well, Simon, you need like in the kitchen you have a Halavi Basari.
Yeah,
so you need one for each.
You have one more white wine that you wanted us to taste,
right? So this is the one it's called Alcunia, and is this you were asking me about the Jewish influence history in Spain and this and that. So we wanted to call this one Alcunia because it's written in Ladino. Okay. Today, the Spanish word is called Alcurnia with R, and obviously don't have Y and don't have K. Y and K are typically from Ladino. So Alcurnia, it's a wine that is 100% Macabeo. You're gonna have, in our perspective, you're gonna have the full potential of a still Macabeo wine. This one has been made from old vines, the same as the Memorias, 45 years old, calcareous-clay soils, strict rain-fed. And in this one, we're gonna be selecting a parcel. It's called Casacal, and we're gonna follow a little bit.
Casacal is a simple house.
Yeah. It's like casa. It's
cal is like Hebrew cal?
No, it's more like a calcareous, more like this given
like
to
like the stone,
the soil of the so we're gonna follow more or less the same process as for Unico, but in this option with with white age on clay amphora jars, 6 months on the clay amphora jars. So it's gonna be aged on 6 months on the lees, and again we're gonna have a white Macabeo having some micro-oxygenation, and then it's gonna stay on the bottle for at least 1 year. Okay, I think we tried to do 6 months, but after 6 months on the clay, the wine needs to rest, and many times 6 months is not enough. So we give it 1 year. So you get a Macabeo that it's a bit more body. So we're gonna do the aging in this wine is 6 months on the lees, but with no batonnage. So we're gonna leave the lees rest in peace, and just without touching. We want certain body, but not too fuller. And yeah, it's a bone dry. It's going to show very well the characteristics of the Macabeo. These white characteristics, in generally speaking, white fruits, white notes, but as well some peach and some stones. Again, these calcareous soils are going to bring many times, some minerality to the wines. I like to call it salinity. More than
minerality.
Minerality.
It's a little bit salty.
Mm-hmm.
This again is something that coats your entire mouth. It's got great balance, and it's got a finish that just keeps going and going.
So this one is a 2022.
Yeah,
and this one was the first vintage for Alcúnia. In 2021. To Alcúnia, we added a little bit of a grape variety. Again, a native grape variety is called Xarel·lo, which is also typical from Spain, mainly from the region of Catalonia. Usually, you can see it many times in places that are close to the coast. In our specific case, is 70 kilometers on a 745 meters, a bit more continental than Mediterranean. So it's gonna bring a bit more fresh, some lime notes.
I'm tasting that in the mid palate, where all of a sudden I get that different flavor coming out.
Yes, it's quite complex. So the aftertaste, it's I would say it's medium, but it's quite elegant at the end.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
The aftertaste is very pleasant.
It is. There's an interesting...
A different taste in the mid-palate. Right in
right. It's like a sudden, sneaky complexity that jumps in.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know quite how to describe it.
I don't either. That's why I said
it is something kind of citrusy-ish, but not... But it's interesting because it is otherwise sort of a stone fruit, peach kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then that mid-palate note, and it suddenly takes a slightly more citrusy...
Almost a more aromatic.
But there's still some kind of almond nut kind of thing happening.
It's the Macabeo.
Yeah.
Really Macabeo is amazing.
This is the first time I've ever tasted a Macabeo that's outside of Vitkin. So it's awesome.
Is anyone else in Israel
doing Macabeo? Yeah. Not that I know of.
I think I prefer that just Paz use it and make the wines, and we leave it there. Better to leave it there. So because in Spain, you can use the Macabeo and do something very simple just because of the fruity. But I think the Macabeo, if you push it a little bit more, you can get
something really
special. And I'm happy that this, when you taste it, is bringing you to different things. That's the idea of navigating with it, and first taste, middle taste, and aftertaste brings you something different. So that's the idea of that wine. So Alcúnia is a word in Ladino that means those who have a big last name. So those who have an Alcúnia or Alcurnia are those who have a last name that was with history and noble background somehow. So that's a wine that is aging white wine. So this is why we put it Alcúnia, because it deserves this a bit of a grand vin on the white section.
So what's the drinking window for something like this?
So again, I think we still are seeing, because the first vintage was 2022. The 2023 is not even released.
Yeah, you're not even close to.
We're gonna release it very soon. So. The time we will tell.
See.
But again, when you have good quality raw material, you can play with it. The question is, how long it will last, the acidity or this and that, is how well we'll be reacting with the time in the bottle. So we'll see. I hope, Simon, we can talk in 3 years or so, and I can bring you exactly the same wine, and we can compare together.
It seems extremely well made. So please God.
We are intending to do wines with a little bit less alcohol, but this one has 13 degrees, and I promise you can drink the entire bottle, and you will wake up tomorrow morning as a new person.
That's what I'm afraid of.
we try to integrate the alcohol into the wine in a beautiful way. As we said before, we work in organic and minimal intervention. So minimal intervention is a word that it could be a bit sometimes overused or confused or this and that. But we truly, especially on the sulfites, we are truly limiting the maximum on the touch on the wine. So that's something that those who are a little bit ragish, they are a little bit sensitive, will much appreciate it. This is why I'm saying that I bet that you can drink all the bottle and tomorrow you will be good. And moreover, on the sparklings, because sometimes the sparklings with the carbonic can bring you sometimes a bit of depends of a bit of a headache or whatever, depends on the people. So again, minimal intervention, this is what we try to do. It's true that sometimes in the kosher it's a little bit more complicated because the lees is not something that you can grow by yourself, or it's very hard if it depends who is. So you have to be using external leads onto the. So, but we are very specific on what we do, on how we bring the grapes. I'm talking about that because it's something that's many times, especially in Tel Aviv, what is organic, what is TV, what is this and that, and many people we are talking directly about how we. When we make the wine, what we use or what we don't use, how we touch it. But I think the key success of having a natural wine is to spend 95% of the time in the vineyard and really, 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 really having a full care and sacrificing many times some escolot, some clusters. Or this one is too big, or this one is too packed, and this one is this or that. So we try to selectionate and bring the best of the best that have a balance and the same a unity on the wine, so we can work on minimal intervention.
Thank you for being on the Kosher Terroir.
My pleasure.
It's amazing.
It has been a surprise, and
it was a big surprise for me, and I very much enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed it. This was great.
Thank you very much.
Well, it was a pleasure for me to crash and to taste fabulous wines.
Well, actually, it was your idea.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Joss. It's my pleasure, and
the pleasure was all mine.
This is Simon Jacob again, your host of today's episode of the Kosher Terroir. Please subscribe via your podcast provider to be informed of our new episodes as they are released. If you're new to the Kosher Terroir, please check out our many past episodes.